Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Halton Hills housing update. So the first week in November was pretty anticlimactic. We certainly are not seeing any major swings, whether it's sales or new listings. So looking at last week's numbers, in Georgetown last week, we only had 8 sales. It's not the highest number, not the lowest number, but things are still moving in town, especially under that $1 million price point. So to note the new listings, we had 15, but half of them, well, more than half, 8 of them were over 1.5 million. That is a price point, like we do not need listings in that price point. That price point is not moving. So to see 8 new listings in that pocket is not great. But what's really skewing the numbers, and I've been talking about this for weeks, is the amount of properties coming off the market and not relisting. So that is really keeping our inventory levels pretty stable. So despite having 8 properties that came on over 1.5 million, we had quite a few in that pocket come off completely. So our inventory just is not going out of control because a lot of people are leaving the market. I know I've been saying this every week, but it's like still happening. So in Acton this week, we had 2 sales and 3 new listings. That's good news for Acton because we have seen multiple weeks where things are actually selling in Acton. We had a long stretch where nothing was moving. So we're seeing not a ton of sales in Acton, but we are seeing some. So that is good news. So looking at Glen Williams, we had no sales and no new listings, and nothing has sold in the Glen since the end of September. So similar story for Limehouse. We had no sales, no new listings, but the last time something sold there was the end of August. And now looking at the rural market, we had no sales there. We did have 1 new listing, but something to note in the rural market, since the middle of September, so basically 2 months, we have only seen 2 properties sell in all of the rural markets since the middle of September. We have seen overall just very low sales. Those 3 markets have a higher average price point. Like most of the stuff is well over the 1.5 and over 2 million. So that pocket being dead doesn't surprise us. But yeah, I was like, how long has it been? I feel like it's been a while since I've reported any sales there. So months, it has been months. Okay, so looking at our active listings this week. So we had 150 listings available last week in all of Halton Hills, and we are up to 154 listings this week. So this goes back to what I'm talking about. Despite the fact that we had more new listings than sales in Acton and Georgetown, our inventory did not climb the same number because we had a bunch of properties come off the market. So it's really keeping things stable. So we only went up to 154 in all of Halton Hills this week. Georgetown this week went from 89, we're up to 92 active listings in Georgetown. Still a pretty calm number compared to the 130 plus that we were seeing throughout that sort of dip in June and July where things were just plummeting in price. So looking at what's available in our price points, under 800,000 is down slightly from 14 to 13 active listings. Most of them are condo and condo townhomes. Those kinds of products are certainly not moving at the rate that they were, in our previous markets. 800 to $1 million is up from 15 to 17 active listings. But if you have a good product under $1 million and you price it well and it shows well, it is moving still. So that's kind of a safe pocket if you are being realistic. So 1 to 1.5 million is up from 35 to 36 active listings. We're not seeing a ton of sales again in that pocket, but it's not spiking the way I thought it would. So now at 1.5 million plus, we were at 26 last week. We are up to 29 this week, but you saw there was 8 new listings over 1.5. And we only went up by 3. So there's still just a lot of movement with people coming off the market. And so again, it's keeping our numbers pretty even keel week to week. So looking at Acton this week, we are up slightly from 23 to 24 active listings. Glen Williams remains the same at 8 active listings. Limehouse remains the same at 5 active listings. And the rural market is up slightly to 25 active listings. So nothing huge to report. At some point, I do think we're going to really start to feel the sales numbers drop off. I mean, we already technically have, but only 10 units in all of Halton Hills sold this week. Not a lot. So as we come into November and December, I think that's going to continue to slow. I think what's really helping keeping the market moving is there is a lot of people that are holding on to pre-approvals from August right now. They got pre-approved before the October and the September interest rates, and so they're trying to get into the market. So that's still, I think, keeping things moving. And people always need to move for whatever reason, whether it's a relocation, you need a bigger house, a smaller house, separations. Like, there's tons of reasons why houses continue to come on the market. So we'll always see the real estate market moving. It's just going to, I think, slow down at some point. We'll see what happens in November, but to start off November, that's a pretty slow start, and that's putting us on pace with having under 50 units sold in the whole month. So that will be something interesting to watch. And of course, our average price from last month was pretty awful. So hoping this month we can see a bit more high ticket products selling. So first week, nothing crazy, but the whole month is going to be an interesting watch to see where we go into December, which is always our quietest month. And if we can see less listings coming up through November and December, will we see our normal trend where we go into January and February with lower inventory levels and usually a busier market? So this is really going to be an interesting month to try and see how we go into the new year. Anyways, lots of rambling there at the end. Sorry about that. But I will be back next Tuesday to see what happens this week. Have a great week, everyone.